everybody, Jessie here from jessiebanks.com and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I have another fun one here featuring a bunch of greeting farm stamps. This is Hi Hippo, and in the kitchen, I love both of these sets, and I thought the little hippos with coffee cups in the coffee pot would be absolutely adorable with the little kitchen set and as like the background of it. So I'm creating a line here. It kind of just gives my eyes an idea of where I want stuff. I actually don't end up following it. Everything is askewed from the line, but it gave me a good starting point at least as to where I was going to place everything. So now I'm just erasing some of the line here so that I can stamp down our hippopotamuses. Hippopotamuses is probably it's probably hippopotami or something. But anyway, those two hippos, how's that sound? Down on the Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and I am stamping them with my MFT Extreme Black ink here. So I'm stamping them both down at the same time, and then I am going to mask them off with those masks you see at the top corner. And now we're going to start adding in our kitchen. This is where the line I decided wasn't good because I went to put my welcome back to my head. Anyway, if you missed the last video, that's where that comes from. You should watch it. That was a horrible plug. Oh my goodness. Anyway, the refrigerator was too high up if I put it on top of the line, so I had to drop everything slightly below it just in order for it to actually fit on the front of the card and not look absolutely ridiculous. So this one here is basically completely covered by the hippo, but I wanted to stamp that piece of cupboards on just so that I knew the spacing to put this one on, which is our sink. Look at me go. I stamp super speedy, you guys. And then I'm going to add another piece of the cupboard here off on the other side, but I wanted to make sure that it went slightly off of the paper and wasn't just on completely on. I wanted it off. This is funny. I left this in simply because I thought it was hilarious that I had to try this 3 times to put the stamp on the right way, you guys. I kept putting it on with like the part that stamp's facing up, so when I picked it up with the lid of the stamp positioner, it was the wrong way around, and yeah, it took me that many tries to get that right. But I had to leave it in because I was like, I cannot believe I did that so many times. So many times. Now this is my favorite part when it comes to anything like this, is pulling those masks off. Whether you're stamping over top and creating scenes like this or ink blending, I absolutely love pulling those stamps off and seeing the crisp white image. So now we're going to jump in and do a whole ton of Copic coloring. This entire image was done with Copic markers. So there is a crap ton of Copic coloring, you guys. I've sped it up about 3.5 times its original speed, just so that I don't bore you all with Copic coloring. I know people really love to see it all, so if I speed it up this little bit more, I can leave everything in, and I don't feel like I have to crop anything out to keep the video at a length that more people are going to sit through and watch. So if you guys enjoy these where you get to see all of the Copic coloring, and I do these scenes and do nothing but with my markers, leave me a comment down below, shoot me a thumbs up. That's the kind of stuff that I use to gauge what videos I'm going to do for you guys based upon how many views they get, what sort of interaction they get, and all that kind of stuff. That lets me know as best as I can what sorts of things those of you that are actually watching my videos want to see. So that's kind of how I make that work. And sometimes I just do stuff that I like doing, and it's my channel and I'll do what I want to do. It's my party and I'll cry if I want to, alright? And I won't show my dandruff because I don't have any, as we learned in the last video. It is Thursday. This video goes up in exactly 1 hour and 45 minutes. Cross your fingers and wish me luck that we get there in time. I should be able to do it because it's edited and it's just voiceover and save it and compress it and upload it. So we should be able to make it by the skin of my teeth. Anyway, I knew I should have done this last night. I went to bed at 8:30 instead. What can I say? I was tired. So we're going into a long weekend. It is Thanksgiving in Canada. I do live in Canada. I'm not an American. Don't take that the wrong way. That sounded really bad. But lots of people seem to assume I'm in the United States, and I'm not. I'm Canadian. I was born 3 hours away from where I currently live, and I've lived here since I was 2. Moved away, but I'm like, this has been home my entire life. So anyway, I digress. It's Thanksgiving. I am heading up to Regina tomorrow. Gonna do some stuff there, and then I think instead of turkey, I'm going to make a giant pot of spaghetti sauce this weekend because I really don't like turkey. But yeah, so I'm going to have the traditional spaghetti sauce Thanksgiving dinner. Can I make that a thing? I think I can make that a thing. I can do whatever I want to. It's my party. So we're jumping in now that we got our hippos done and their clothes. I'm jumping in and going to start working on our background. I'm going to make the fridge like a cream colored fridge. I didn't want it stark white. I didn't want it tricolor metal. It was just not something I wanted to do for this card. So I decided to kind of make it like a cream toned fridge. So I'm using my E40 series of markers and getting that all blended out. There's lots of Copic coloring in this one, like I said, but it's all fairly simple. A lot of them are pretty muted colors, like all of the hippos are gray, and then our fridge and our farm sink here are going to be this browny creamy color. Our background is going to be like a purpley gray, like I used the cool grays instead of the neutral grays. Dark brown cupboards. I kind of kept everything really, really like what you would expect in an everyday type kitchen deal. I figured it would be really fun to kind of color something with a little more muted color palette. It was snowing when I did this and I was miserable and I didn't want to use too many bright and cheerful colors. So I did make the curtains you'll see coming up are bright yellow, but that's about it for like super vivid color. But I'm really happy with how this card turned out. I like how all of the image and everything is focused on that top like third-ish of the card front. I think it turned out really, really pretty. And then that little bit of twine just kind of finishes everything off. Links to these stamps and everything will be in the description box below, as they always are. So you can definitely pop down there to find them all over the place. I really hope you guys enjoy having the links so you guys can see what the products are and everything else. If you're interested in picking anything up, it makes it fairly easy for you guys to be able to find all of that. So I'm using my warm grays here to create our countertop and the handles on the refrigerator. A little bit of pink in the hearts. And now we're going to do our clouds and the little bottom color accent piece on the tea towel that's hanging below the sink. So I'm using my favorite yellow combination, which is YR24, Y17. I skipped 15 and used 13 this time, and then Y11 to finish it all off. Maybe? Yeah. And that's a pretty standard yellow combination that I use for the most part. Tossing just a little bit of blue and that B60, which is like a purpley blue, into the window to give that a little bit of color. Some dark brown for our coffee to make that nice and rich. We're coming close to the end of this one, which is awesome. I added a little bit of blue and then some of that N to the coffee pot just to make sure that it had kind of that translucent feel that you could see the hippo's skin, but it had a little blue from reflection from the glass. Oh, the grass. It's not the grass. It's the glass of the coffee pot, Jessie. The glass. Now I'm coming in with that BV20, which is like a purple gray, and then I'm blending that out with my C1 and C0. I wanted a little bit of a purple tone to it, but I definitely wanted it more gray. So that's why I went this route. I'm really happy actually with the way it came out. It blended out a lot nicer than I expected it to. So I was super pumped that I gave that a shot. It's kind of nice sometimes to play with some different colors and dropping, instead of always working in like the same color family and color grouping, adding different things in to kind of see what you can create. And then I pulled out my warm grays in order to give them a nice little floor to stand on. That's why I enjoy having like the 3 different gray families. I do want to pick up some of the toner grays too, because I think I'd enjoy them. But having those 3 options, like currently with the cool grays, the warm grays, and the neutral grays, allows me to use all of those grays on the same card and have them all feel very, very different. That background feels very, very cool, and that little bit of purple definitely helps, but feels very, very cool. And the flooring, of course, as you can see, feels very, very warm, which it should, right? And then the hippos are still gray, but they're a completely different gray than everything else. I showed you my multi-liner there. I re-outlined everything on that image just to have it nice and black and stand out. Now we're going to stamp our sentiment. I'm going to make sure that it is nice and straight on the stamp positioner here. And then I'm going to use that same black ink and stamp down the Made with Love sentiment. Now I've got this black twine. I have a twine addiction. If you've never seen pictures of my twine drawer, I'll post one over on Instagram. That'll be like, my Instagram will be linked down below. But yeah, so I'm going to create a little, I fought with this. I haven't used twine in a very long time. I used to use twine on almost every card. And I haven't used it in a long time. So I was downstairs and I'm like, I should use some of this. I have an entire drawer full of string, Jessie. Use your string, girl. So I pulled it out and I tied a little bow on the front of it, but it had been a very long time since I had used twine for anything. So it took me a little bit of finessing in order to get the twine adhered to the back and then arranged the way I wanted it in order to tie that bow. So once we get that done, all that's left is to adhere it to the front of the card base, and that's it for this card, guys. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. It helps me a ton. If you're the person that's always giving me a thumbs down, thank you. It helps me too. Putting that on our card base, like I said. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe. I've been putting out a ton of videos, and I hope you guys have been enjoying them. And I will see you guys very, very soon in the next one. Bye for now.